Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bill with Pros, Lasers, and CNC. I want to wish everyone a happy New Year's. It was a good 24. I'm hoping for 25 to be even better. So good luck to everyone this year, and just want to wish everyone a happy New Year's. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different than what I've been doing. All my videos have all been on my laser, my 20-watt laser machine. Today I want to go over what you see over in this corner behind my shoulder. I want to go over my Genmitsu Reno 4040 CNC machine. When I first started out doing any of this kind of stuff, it was with a 3018 CNC machine. Took me forever to put that thing together. I mean, hours and hours and hours. I've never had a machine like this before, or like these before. Came in a box. It was all the box was like this, and you had to put every single thing together on it. It was definitely a challenge. I did get it put together. It took, like I said, hours. But this is the one I started out with. I'm going to show you real quick. It's just a little tiny CNC machine, 3018. It did okay. Probably some of the errors that I had with it was probably more so my inability of knowing how to put these things together and doing these things with it. But it did work pretty good. It worked good for a while, and then it just, I made a lot of signs with it and things. And then after a while, once you start using it, you put a piece of wood on there and you start cutting it out. Um, and all of a sudden it would skip a beat, and then the machine and the computer thought the machine was farther than where it was, and you didn't find out until quite a while later. And you look down, and you're like, well, why is it engraving over top of something that it already cut out? That's when you find out you just wasted a whole piece of sheet, uh, and you got to restart it. Plane the wood, get it to the size you want, sand it down nice and smooth, put it back on the bed, restart the program. Sometimes it took two or three times of that, and I was like, okay, I'm done with this thing here. It put together some nice stuff, but it was one of those things that it just wasn't worth the money that it was making for me. It was just way too much for it. So I went ahead and I bought a Ortor 5-watt laser machine. Dived into laser machines a little bit. Had to put that together. It wasn't so bad. It was much easier than what that 3018 was. So I started doing that for a while, and then I don't know how long I had it, but the lens cracked on it, and I didn't know anything about them. So I went ahead and purchased a Ortor 10-watt laser module and used the same bed and everything. I just got the laser module and put it on there, and I used that for quite a while and cracked the lens on that. Did some research on it, found out I can get lenses for it, swapped the lenses out on them, used that for a while, and then I was like, I can go with something a little bit bigger, and I put my finances together and bought a 20-watt Burn Lab 20-watt laser machine. That's what most of my videos have all been. All my videos have all been on was the 20-watt. So I got back into CNC because that was my original dive into this world. So I went ahead and I got the Genmitsu 4040 Reno. It is belt driven. I don't mind the belt driven. I think I paid like $450 for the machine, I think is what it was. I think that's what the price I paid for it. The next one up had the steel rails on it and all that. And from what you hear other people talking, it's a much better machine. But for me and the price I had, this is what I could afford. It's what I jumped into to get back into the CNC world. I did replace the router with. It came with a 60-watt. I believe it was 60-watt. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And I did replace it with the Bauer I got from Harbor Freight trim router. So I did replace it with that shortly after I did purchase the machine. A few days later, I went to Harbor Freight and I said, yeah, $40. Let me go ahead and grab that palm router and put it on there, and it does a whole lot better. It's you can go deeper, you can go faster than what the other one was. So that was part of my attraction of trying to get rid of that smaller one to be able to do that. But it is, like I said, it is belt, so you can hear, like right now when I move it, you don't hear nothing really. But as soon as you turn this machine on and you go to move it, it's kind of there a little bit. But as you can see, you can move it. and it does skip some stuff with it. So it's makes changing bits kind of tough. It does definitely does make bit changing a whole lot harder, because once you move that little tiny bit, if it skips a tooth on there, you can forget about your coordinates. Everything is lost. You'll never get it back to where you had it. I did watch a couple other videos where you can it's a G30 code that you can put in your machine, so you know exactly where that was, even if you shut it off or if you move it or you bump, you change a bit, and the whole gantry here moves. You can always go right back to where you was, so you can resume your change your bit, put it in there, go back to home the machine, and you can go right back to where you actually needed it to be. So once I saw that video, I said, "Oh wow, that's a whole lot nicer. I like that." So it does make life a little bit easier. So I don't mind the belt. The belt is, like I said, a lot of folks, if you got money, you get something bigger. If you don't have a lot of money, you get what you can afford, so you can get into this field. You do what you got to do to try to have a little fun and learn the machine and put some projects together, and it's a lot of fun. So, but today I wanted to kind of go over some of the bits I use, a little bit of the machine. Like I said, I already touched on the trim router compared to the other little router that came with it. So I did, like I said, to replace that. But I'm going to swap you over to the other camera, and I'm going to go over some of these bits that I have, and some of the things that I do use with it. So these clamps right here, you can see I made, I 3D printed them myself. They work real well, but they are 3D printed for myself. I think I did like 5 or 6, or about 6 of them, I think is what it was. And they do hold the material down extremely well. But this is the nut that goes on the bottom of your router, and it came with a 1/4 inch collet. But with this, you can also take that 1/4 inch out, and you can also put a 1/8 inch collet in there. So you can use some of these smaller bits that I do have. I have quite a few of those from my 3018 machine, so I don't ever want to lose them or not use them. So it's nice to be able to swap them out. But obviously your bigger collets are going to make your bigger shafts, 1/4 inch shafts. It's not going to bend as much. It's going to do probably a little bit better. Not probably, it will do a little bit better than what the 1/8 inch was. But I have so many of those bits that it's going to be able to swap between both of them. And all you do is, like I said, you just put it in there, you put it up in there, you start tightening it, and it just your bit just fits right in there. And then once you tighten it, it locks it in place. So that's that. All right, so the first bit I'm going to kind of go over here is this. I think it's a 1/2 inch, I believe is what it is. Let me get this. This is something that it's a must-have. If you don't have a caliper, you really need to invest in a caliper. You don't have to have a real expensive one. This is a metal one. This does real well. But they all, Harbor Freight has some, I don't know what the price are, but they're plastic. They're a little bit cheaper, but they do have them. This one here is, it says it's 0.7. 0.7 is what that is. And what I used that for was, as you can see, this groove across here. I went ahead and I surfaced my work bed to get it to where it was flat. The thing with this machine is it does have a split bed. 2 pieces of MDF boards that put together, so you do get a little bit of play in it. So I will eventually put some wood underneath this where it goes down the middle of it, the seam, to try to make it so when you are doing stuff that you don't get a little bit of play in your material. Because you will definitely get, when that bit goes down in there, you will definitely get some play on it. So that's the first bit. That was my clearance bit. It just go ahead and levels the bed out. Also, if your board is a little bit not the same, you can run this over and you can go ahead and get your board level on top. So when you do go put your image on that board, you'll know that your depths are going to be what they should be. These other 2 bits here, this is a 60-degree V-bit. You can tell because it's got the 60-degree coming down on the angle. That's a 60-degree V-bit. I don't use that a whole lot, but I do use it sometimes. This is my go-to bit. This is a, a 1/4 inch shaft, and it's a 1/4 inch 90-degree V bit. That bit I like to use for just about everything I do. This is my go-to bit. It does real well. I love the 90-degree V bit. 60-degree does real nice, but that 90-degree V bit is the one I've always kind of used, so that's ones that I really like. Let me get my eyes back on so I can see what I'm doing here. Now, these two here are a 1/4 inch shank, and this one is a 1/8 inch ball nose. So if you look at it, it's got a ball end to the nose. This would be for like 3D working and things like that if you're doing 3D signs. I do have a 3D sign here. Give me a second. This is a sign that I made. I did a small just so I would know how it came out with. Because if you do a normal size and it ends up messing up, you don't like it, then you'll know. But this is what I used. I think it was the 1/8 inch ball nose bit to do that. And you can see all the curves to it, the waving flag, the stars inside the waving flag, the eagle. That really came out really nice. And then I used triple thick coat to make it real shiny. So that you can use with the ball nose bits. Like I said, I have two different ball nose bits. I have a 1/4 inch one and then a 1/8 inch ball nose bit. So I do have those that I do use. And that's my 60-degree, my 90-degree V bit. This is a bit that I use quite a bit for like clearing out big pockets and all. I forget what I got it on Amazon. I paid 25 bucks for it. It does real well. It stays real sharp, and it clears out a lot of pockets that I use. All right, these are. Let me get these out of the way. These are your bowl bits. They're rounded, so they look like. If I can show you here. That's the bowl bit. It's shaped like a bowl. So when you're doing a bit and you're doing, let's say you're trying to make a bowl, you would use that to make your bowl. This one is all 1/4 inch shafts. But that's a 1/2 inch one, 1/4 inch one, and a 5/16 one. Probably I used the 1/2 inch one. Obviously, I haven't used these yet because they're still in the plastic. But the 1/2 inch one it's real decent. It does well. These I got, all these bits here all came off Amazon. They were all the cheaper brand ones. This was not a cheaper one. It was a more, I can't remember what the name of the brand was, but that bit, I paid a little bit more for that. I probably paid as much for that bit as I did for all of these. But these all came off Amazon. They were cheaper brand ones, and they work real well. For as long as what I do, as much as I do with it, they work real well. These I got off a SainSmart when I bought my machine. They asked me if I wanted to get a complimentary set of bits. I think they were like $34, or I can get a Wi-Fi machine for this. And I decided to go with the bits for $35. I just thought that would be better. But you open them up and you have a ball nose, which are the same as what the ball nose were over here. They're just much smaller. They're only 3.175 ball nose. They work real well. They don't do too bad at all. This whole set all does real well. This is a nano blue coated. It comes at a 0.8 to a 3.0. You see, I already broke one of them. I was trying to clear out some pockets on the thing I was making, and I went too fast or whatever the case was, and it snapped it off. But these bits here all work real well. This is titanium coated, and they also go from 0.8 to 3.35, I think is what I said on these. Can't read it. Yeah, 0.3. I'm sorry, 0.3. So you see, I broke two of those as well too. You can't go too fast. These little 1/8 inch bits, they don't. Now this would hold up a little better, but when you're dealing with these real small ones that put like 1 and 1.2 and 1.4, they're just so small that they will definitely break if you go too fast with them. But they do real well. And the other one from Sane Smart is the flat nose. You do this here, clearing out some stuff. It's 3.175 inch flat nose, and they do real well clearing out pockets and all. You know, you just when you got real fine detail, you got to go with the smaller ones. But if you got the 3.175s, that will work really good for it. So that's the bits. It comes the router. The trim router came with two of these wrenches. That's how you take your collet off the machine. But I only use, it has a little button on the back that when you turn it, it locks it, and then you can use this to tighten it a little bit. And you can use, I don't tighten it too much. The more you tighten it, the more it's going to mess with your, because these things have to stay kind of not spring loaded. There's no springs on them, but they're kind of like spring loaded. And once you over tighten them too much, then you'll end up making it to where these things just don't, they're not effective anymore. So I just use the one here. I don't tighten it a whole lot. I just how I do it. I've never had a bit come flying off on me. Some people you see, they really get them on there and they put them on and they really crank them tight. And all that does is that just ruins your collets there. So I don't do that. But that's what it came with. This is a piece of pine here. I think tomorrow, I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. I don't know when the video will come out. I'm going to make a little catch-all tray for a snowman. It'll be 13 inches by 7 1/4 or something like that is what it's going to be wide. It's just going to be a little snowman figure that you can put nuts on it or fruit in it, or if you want to put candy, something like that. It'll just be for something like that. But that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. But like I said, this is a big thing to get. Caliber. You really, really want your calibers. Calibers are just so important. That definitely lets you know how thick that wood is. So you know when you go to cut the image out of this, you got to make sure that you're not too deep, because if you go too deep, you'll see what happens to me over here. You see this little groove right here. That groove goes almost all the way across the way. I was cutting out a piece of wood and it was going back and forth, and I wasn't inside here when it was doing it. And long story short, you can see how far down it went. It went down pretty far into that wood. So you got to, and that was this bit here. You know, you got to be real careful, you know, when these things are running. You definitely want to be in the area. When you see it happen, you hit the emergency shut-off button and you're good to go. But that's kind of it for the bits and kind of the things that I do use. I'm still trying to get back. Like I said, I know I started out with the 3018. That was the first machine I ever owned, but it's been a long time, and I went to the lasers instead. So getting back into the CNC world, what I was using before was what was it, Easel by Inventables. They were like, I think $18 a month for it, and I said, yeah, okay, I can use that program, and it does everything. You can design, and you can set up your tool paths, and you can cut it out. So that was a nice program. But then they bumped it up to I think it's $24, $25 now. I don't know. It's been a little bit since I looked at it, but I was like, I'm just not. I just don't want to pay that much money for it when you figure out the price at the end of the year. It just wasn't worth it to me. So I went and I found a guy on the internet, James Dean Designs. I think his name was James Dean. I think is what it is, and he does a program, Carveco Maker, and that's what I've been using to set up my stuff. But mostly, since well, let me switch over here. Let me switch over to here. Mostly, what I do is I use Lightburn to create my files. You can go into Lightburn and you can create your files, and you can make them, create them. Then you can send them over a DXF file to Carveco Maker, and you can set up all your tool paths. And I have some. I'll get some stuff out there for that on how I do that. But you can do all your tool paths in Carveco Maker, and then you can go ahead and send that to Candle, which is another free program. I think Carveco Maker, I think I spend $15 a month for that, so it was almost $10 less than what Easel was from Inventables, and that's $120 at the end of the year. So that's a lot of dough. And to me, that was worth saving that $10. but I design in Lightburn most of the time. Bring it over into Carveco Maker, and then from Carveco Maker, I send it over to Candle to cut the stuff out. So that's how I do it. And I'm going to put a video out. I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to try, see if I can put one out tomorrow for that. It's a snowman catch-all tray, like I was telling you. And it can be used for all winter. Don't have to be, snowman for Christmas. It can be used all winter. I did make one of those, not yesterday, the day before, I think it was. Brought down to my folks down there, and I put some nuts in it and gave it to them for New Year's Eve, New Year's present for him. I think I gave it to him yesterday. I think it was. So, excuse me. So tomorrow, I think I'm going to try to put that video together. It all depends on what I have going on tomorrow, but I'm going to try to come in here and put that snowman catch-all tray together and put a little video out with that. But I just kind of wanted to go over this and just show where I came from, what I have, and how I'm coming back to the CNC world. And, I've had it for a little while now. I just haven't really gotten a whole lot into it. I've done a few things on it, but no videos on it. I just went ahead and did it because I'm still trying to learn. I don't want to look, look crazy because I don't really know the Carveco Maker program very well. So I don't want to look too crazy. I want to know what I'm doing before I put a video out for y'all. But I think tomorrow I might give it a try and see what I can do. But once again, I wish all a healthy and happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to everyone. If you got something out of this, I would love a thumbs up, and a subscription would really help out a lot. And pass this on to other folks. Try to get my channel to grow. 2024, I started this and put what do I have, 11 videos, 12 videos out. I'm gonna try to bump this up for sure. Make more. But the more feedback I can get from everyone, the more I can let this grow and show that it's really worth putting the channel together. But yeah, 2025, I'm going to try to do a whole lot more for us. But I need to get my channel to grow, and it doesn't cost a penny to go down there and click that subscribe button, or hit the like button, or share, or your notification. You'll know when I put something out. But I'm going to try to go between the laser and the CNC machine, and I'm going to try to throw some 3D printing stuff out there as well too. Not everyone's in all this stuff, but it's what I'm into, and I'm sure there's people out there that are going to be into that too. But if you can definitely give me a like and a thumbs up, it would be huge. That's going to help me out so much, and I'm a small channel, and I'm not going to get bigger without you. So 2025, we can make this grow a whole lot more. And I appreciate you all. It doesn't cost nothing. It doesn't take any more time. Just go down there, click that like button, and subscribe to my channel. That's the biggest thing. All right, guys. Happy New Year again. And until next time, thank you much.